तेरी वासु को पसंद है इसलिए मक्खन बनाने को कहा ना। आज अपने दिल की बात तू वासु को बता ही देना। आज का तो इंतजार था मुझे।
मैं आप सबसे एक इम्पोर्टेंट बात करना चाहता हूँ। कौन है वो लड़की?
कौन सी लड़की जी?
अगर इस उम्र को बुलाकर ये कहना है कि आपसे एक इम्पोर्टेंट बात करनी है, तब तो वो जरूर लव मैटर ही होगा। क्यों रे?
Hello.
Hi friends, in the previous class we have discussed about associative and disassociative social processes. We have discussed like in the associative social processes, it is of three types: cooperation, accommodation, as well as assimilation. And in the disassociative process, social processes, we have competition as well as conflict. Today, we'll be discussing about socialization. My dear friends, I request all of you to mute yourself. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can raise your hand and then we'll. Okay. My dear friends, once the child is born, it's just like a new page number 110. Just like a new computer without any software, my dear friends. So whatever the software we are going to install in the computer, it is going to function. The same way, once a child is born and brought up, he does not have anything in his brain. He is just like a new computer, my dear friends. And the parents and the society, neighbors, all these people are going to train him or teach him the accepted norms and values, behavior which is there in that particular society, so that he or she is going to learn and imbibe those qualities and is going to conform to the norms and values which are there in that particular society. Okay, so it is a process in which the children or the next generation is being trained with the accepted norms and values. So the socialization can be conceptualized in three ways, my dear friends. It is a process of learning. It is a process of learning about the accepted norms and values. It may be in the formal or informal way. At the home or at the family, my dear friends, the learning and training process happens informally, whereas once we come to the educational institutions, it is going to be formal. In the society, it is going to be formal, my dear friends. So it can be both formal as well as informal. The next one is uh, it is going to help in the formation of the personality or the development of the self, my dear friends. And the last one is it is going to internalize the social norms, values, moral conduct, everything, my dear friends, which are acceptable in that particular society. Now let us discuss about the stages of socialization. Stages of socialization. The socialization is a gradual process of learning. My dear friends, it can be classified. It can be classified into four stages, my dear friends. Okay, the first one is the oral stage. It happens from the birth till 1 year of the child, my dear friends. So by birth, from the first day till the completion of 1 year, we are going to have this oral stage. Oral stage, where parents are going to say Dada, Namaskar, Bolo, Shashrikal, all these things. We are going to tell him, but the child doesn't know, but it is going to be slowly going to be internalized by the child. 1 day to 1 year, my dear friends. And the second stage is the anal stage. From the first year till third year, we are going to train the child with certain aspects like how to express himself, how to express his feelings. And if he's going to do anything, we are going to correct him. We are going to try to explain him what is correct and what is incorrect. So in this anal stage, we are going to train the child. And the mother is going to play a dual role, my dear friends. She takes part in the interaction process with the child. At the same time, she's also going to play a larger role at the family level, my dear friends. She takes care of the family. She also takes care of the child. So she's going to take up dual activity. Okay. First one is oral stage and the second one is anal stage. You must have seen child like once they have completed 1 year, once he started crawling or slowly walking, we'll try to explain him how to express his feeling, like when he's thirsty, how to express himself, when he's hungry, how to express everything, my dear friends. We'll be training in this anal stage. It happens from 1 year to 3 years. And the third one is Oedipal stage, OEDIPAL, Oedipal stage. It happens from 3 years till 12 years, my dear friends. This stage is very, very crucial, very, very important, my dear friends. In this stage, the child will develop extra complexes, the feeling of jealousy towards the others, towards the mother, towards the father and the other, my dear friends. And this stage, my dear friends, this child will try to identify himself with the rest of the people within the family based on their sex, sexual differences, like what is boy, what is a girl, everything. He also tries to identify his siblings, their role within the family, and he also tries to identify himself as the member of the family. So these are the three things. He identifies himself based on sex, like whether he's a male or female, what to be done, what not to be done, because the parents are going to train them. He also tries to identify himself with the siblings and as a member within the family. And my dear friends, this stage is very, very important. Why? Because once a child, because child will have a lot of curiosity to learn things. At the time they may go to the parents and they will try to ask, mama, what is this? Dad, what is this? Because they will not be able to understand the logic of it, my dear friends. So at the time they go on asking them. And at the time, my dear friends, remember, at the time, if we are not going to help them address those issues properly, if we are going to beat them, or if we are going to scold them, or if we are going to get irritated about them, do you know what happens, beta? The child will try to move away from the parents. And tomorrow, when they have a genuine problem, at the time there will be fear of our caning, beating, or scolding, or being frustrated. And at the time, do you know what happens, beta? The child may not come to us, and the child may really end up in some issues or problems. The chances that the child may also have bad company, and they may also ruin off their life, my dear friends. So this Oedipal stage, because the child will be curious, they want to learn, they are going to try to identify themselves with the rest of the society, my dear friends. It is very, very important for us to guide them properly. And after this Oedipal stage, we are going to have adolescent stage, nothing but the teenage from 13 to 18. And this is also very, very crucial. Why? Because the child, because of hormonal changes, at the time the child wants to detach himself with the family members, and he or she wants to lead an independent life, wants to lead an independent life. They want to get out of the parental control. So here, parents are going to play a major role. So parents must not be like this. Ultimate freedom must not be given. And at the same time, you must not keep no ultimate restrictions. Think this is mom and this is dad, and child is just like a spring. And if you are going to keep the spring nothing but the child, and if you are going to press like this, and if you want to see what the child is doing, the spring will simply jump away. That will skip away or run away from the hold of the parent. And if you're going to give ultimate freedom, and if you want to change them, then obviously it will fall. So the parents must not give neither ultimate freedom, neither ultimate restrictions. They must be like this, my dear friends, so that the child will also have freedom. At the same time, you can also mold them properly. Neither like this, neither like this. It must be like this, my dear friends. And if you're going to spend good time with the child, if you're going to train them properly at the early age, then obviously the child will be with us. And whatever the issue they have, whatever they want, they will freely come to the parents, and they will try to share with them, and the parents can guide them properly. So these are the four stages of socialization, my dear friends: oral stage, anal stage, Oedipal stage, and adolescence. Now let us discuss about the types of socialization. Types of socialization. In your book, my dear friends, they have mentioned about three types of socialization: primary, anticipatory, and re-socialization. Primary socialization, anticipatory socialization, and re-socialization. The primary socialization takes place at the early age of the individual, my dear friends, or the early age of child, like how to have the food, how to interact with the people, like how to put on the clothes, how to do the activities which are acceptable by the society. All this we are going to learn at the early stage of the life of the individual. So we call it as primary socialization. Then the next one is anticipatory socialization. In this, I'm going to anticipate, I'm going to predict what my child has to be. నేను ఊహిస్తాను నా కొడుకు నా పిల్లవాడు ఇలా కావాలా. I'm going to anticipate what my child has to be, and I'm going to train my child in that way or in that dimension only. So we call it as anticipatory socialization. If we see in China, my dear friends, once a child is born, do you know what they think? I want my child to take part in the Olympic Games and win a medal for the nation. Win a medal for the nation. And you know what they do, beta? At the age of 2 years, they are going to drop them in the indoor, in the stadium, or in the sports school, like my dear friends, at the age of 2 years. And most of us, my dear friends, till the age of 5 years, we don't know what we have done, but there they are expecting the child to be a player and take part in Olympics and win the glory for their country. They are going to anticipate and train them, socialize them in that way. So we call it as Anticipatory Socialization. And we can also have one more socialization, my dear friends, that is Developmental Socialization. Developmental Socialization. In this, we are going to progress from one stage to the other stage. Is it better? Once I have, before marriage, when I'm going to plan for marriage, at the time my parents are going to teach me. Once you get married, how you have to take care of your lady, how to set up a family, how to save money, how to spend your qualitative time, everything they are going to train. And once after a few years, once I'm going to become a father, at the time again I'm going to be trained how to handle the child, how to take care of the child, everything, my dear friends. That means in each and every stage we are going to develop or we are going to progress. So once we are going from one stage to the other stage, the norms and values which are there are entirely different. So they are going to train me with the accepted norms and values. So we call it as developmental socialization. Once I've joined this teaching profession, they've also taught me how to deliver the lectures, how to address the issues of the students, and how to make my teaching effectively so that students can understand it and carry forward in their daily life. So I'm being trained how what kind of dress I have to put on, how to handle the students, everything. So we call it as developmental socialization. And the fourth one, my dear friends, we call it as re-socialization. Beta, have you seen this tape recorder? For tape recorder, we have some buttons like pause, stop, play, pause forward, rewind. Isn't it better? Record.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it better? The same way here we are going to have rewind. So here they are talking about re-socialization. Is it rewinding it better? It's almost like, for example, think a Brahmin has joined defense. And according to the Brahminical philosophy, they say that you must not harm any creature. And if you're going to harm any creature, it is sin. So now think a Brahmin was forced to join the defense, and tomorrow he took the gun, he garlanded the gun, and he started performing the ritual. Every day he started doing the prayer to the gun. And tomorrow a war broke up between India and some other country. It must not happen. Just giving an example. A war broke up between India and some other country. And now this Brahmin, he says, I must not kill any person because it is against my religious belief system. So what will happen? He will be put to death and the country will also lose the battle. So whatever the knowledge he has gained, that is not going to be suitable for that profession. Not going to be suitable for that profession. So what we are going to do now, we are going to remove this software and we are going to infuse the new software, nothing but the new norms and values, which are going to be useful for that profession or for that field or for that society where we are going to stay, my dear friends. So we call that process as re-socialization. Got it, beta? So actually in your book, they have mentioned about 3, but you can also have the 4th one, developmental socialization. Now let us discuss the agencies of socialization. Agencies of socialization means there must be some mechanism, some institution which is going to train the people. Isn't it better? They are going to learn it. So there are 5 agencies, my dear friends. In your book, they have mentioned about this. The first one is the family. The child is born in the family. So the family is the first agent of socialization. Parents are going to train the child with the norms which are acceptable in that particular society. So the child is going to have the first experience of learning at the family, my dear friends. He learns to about the rules, regulations, what is correct, what is incorrect, everything the child is going to learn in the family. Family is the first agent of socialization. And once the child is grown, we are going to drop the child at the school, my dear friends, nothing but educational institutions. These educational institutions have a greater impact on the child, my dear friends. This is going to have a deliberate attempt in terms of educational activities, extracurricular activities. We try to promote sincerity, punctuality, and also basic knowledge so that he or she can become a good citizen of that respective state or country, my dear friends. Unintentionally, socialization occurs with teachers as the models for the students. If the teacher is going to practice it, practice anything, then obviously the friends are going to see it and they are going to practice it. Remember, the family and the teachers are going to play a vital role to have the impact on the child. Remember, children never listen neither to the teachers, neither to the parents. They imitate them. Remember, they try to imitate them. If we do the right, if we have the right habits, then obviously they will learn it by seeing it, by practicing it. And if you are going to say something, and if you are going to practice something, whatever we practice, that will be imbibed by the child. Remember, teachers have a greater impact on the child in terms of learning aspects, my dear friends. The next one is peer group, nothing but the same age friends. Because when they go to the school, they have friends. After coming from the school, they have friendship with the neighbors' children. Being with a winner makes you a winner, and being with a loser makes us a loser. And this peer group has a greater impact on the child, my dear friends. Has a greater impact on the child. So it is the duty, it is the responsibility of the parents to see with whom the child is going to play a major or make friendship, and how much time is going to spend with them, whether it's a qualitative one, whether it's a positive one or not. Everything has to be studied, my dear friends, or taken care by the parents. So first one is family, second one is schools or educational institutions, the third one is same age group, nothing but the peer group. And the next one is mass media, nothing but the electronic and print media. This is also going to play a major role. For example, you must have seen this movie Vastav in Hindi. Actually, it is also there in Telugu, but I forgot the name of the movie. In that movie, Sanjay Dutt is the hero. Actually, he's a villain there. He's a gang leader in that movie. And in that, there was a patented dialogue. जितना एक दिन तो कैसे भी मरना है, जितना दिन जिया शेर जैसा जियो. At any one or the other day, I have to die. So till you have lived or survived, live like a king. And this dialogue has motivated a lot of people to enter. I'm not blaming Sanjay Dutt, but actually they want to talk about the gangs, everything in Mumbai. But after this, a lot of gangs came into existence, my dear friends, in the negative way. And if you see in Hindi again, there is a movie called Tare Zameen Par. In that movie, there was a child who was facing problem of identifying the alphabets. We call it as dyslexia. And most of the parents, before this movie came, if the child was facing the trouble in terms of identifying the alphabets, in terms of writing it, they used to simply scold him, beat him, and they also used to ask the teacher to cane him if he's not going to learn. But once this movie was released, most of the parents' attitude towards their child has been changed. So mass media is also going to influence the people, my dear friends. Where the ideology, left is, right is philosophy or anything, whether it can be anything, my dear friends, it will also influence the children or the people at large. And last, my dear friends, the society at large is also going to influence our behavior, nothing but the norms, values, rules, and regulations. All these are also going to influence us. So in the previous class, I told you like one of my cousin sister, when she has gone to the Arab countries, she has put on the hijab. She went there so that she will not face any trouble, and there the people will not create any trouble for this lady. So the society at large is also going to influence the learning process, my dear friends. So these are the 5 agents of socialization. What are they, beta? Family, schools, peer group, then fourth one is mass media, and the last one is society at large. Now let us discuss about the theories of socialization. The first theory is C.H. Cooley, theory of looking glass. C.H. Cooley, theory of looking glass, or looking glass self theory. We also call it as looking glass self theory. In this, all of you guys.
Sorry, sir. What is it? What was it?
Looking glass self theory or theory of self. Looking glass theory of self or. Okay, but it is there in page number 114. Page number 114.
Okay, sir.
Okay. In this, better all of you after taking bath, after getting ready, will you see the mirror?
Yes, sir.
We
Obviously.
apply cosmetics. We have our own role model. We feel just like Shah Rukh Khan, Sanjay Dutt, maybe Pawan Kalyan or something like. We have our own imagination, my dear friends. You're going to see it, isn't it? The same way, looking glass self theory. Okay. In this, my dear friends, each and every person has imagination of their own, has their own imagination, like how they have to look like. And the second one is the people who are there in the society are going to make a comment or a judgment of their appearance, how they are going to see that appearance. And based on the judgment of that appearance, people are going to be either happy or unhappy. If they are going to be happy, they are going to repeat that activity. And if they are not happy, they will not repeat that activity. I'll give one example. When I was doing my master's, please, beta, someone mute your mic, okay? Gemma,
Okay,
please mute
sir.
yourself.
Okay, sir.
When I was doing my master's, at the time, because I have few clothes, like my mama said, you are pursuing your post-graduation in Nizam College, the capital of the state. So she has purchased me 3 new pairs of clothes. And that one was my favorite color, blue color shirt. And then the other one was pink color, my mom's favorite. And the other one was yellow color shirt. It was pure plain one. So pink color was the costliest one at the time. So once I came from Warangal back to Hyderabad, I put on this costly shirt and I caught the bus and I went to the college. Once I got down from the bus, one of my friends who is from literature, MA English literature, he saw me and he said, Bhavani, one new dress. I said, yes, it's my new dress. I was feeling happy because it was my new dress. And now he said, Arey wow, pink color. Then I said, yeah, it's my pink man. Then he said, do you know what is the meaning of pink? I said, I don't know all these things, like what is the meaning of pink. Then he said, do you know what is the meaning of pink in America? Then I said, I don't know, man. I don't know what is the meaning of pink in India. And you are expecting me to know what is the meaning of pink in America. Then do you know what he said? Do you know it is the symbol for gays? Same sex like. If a boy likes a boy, and if they want to have a relation, it is like a code, like a boy put on a pink color, it is going to. And that fellow has said that this is a gay color. I'm in India, I'm not in America. I'm not a gay, but that fellow has said it's pink color, it's a gay color, shed like. Then the next moment, I came back to the hostel, packed, I removed the cloth, packed it, and throwed it aside. And from that day on till now, there is no pink color dress for me, no pink color shirt. And see, that fellow, actually, I put on a dress, and I assumed like I was very happy. I put on a costly dress, and a fellow has made a judgment of that appearance, of that appearance. And based on the judgment, I did not feel happy, so I stopped repeating doing that activity. And if I'm going to be happy, I'm going to repeat that activity. So according to this C.H. Cooley, there are 3 elements of this theory. How I want to appear, and how people are going to make the judgment of that appearance. And based on the judgment, either I will be happy or I will be unhappy. If I'm happy, I will repeat that activity. If I'm unhappy, I will not repeat that activity. So children, in this learning process, they will also do this, my dear friends. If parents are going to appreciate the activity, they will repeat it. And if parents are going to scold them or beat them at the time, they may stop doing that activity. So this about C.H. Cooley's looking glass theory of self. The next one is George Herbert Mead's theory of self. George Herbert Mead's theory of self. Once the child is born, at the time the child will be closely associated with the mother, not with the dad also, my dear friends. Because mama will be trying to take care of the child in all the aspects. She takes care of the child in terms of providing food, takes care of the health, clothing, what not, my dear friends. She provides all the comforts to the child. So here, he is going to be very, very close to the mother. And as the child is going to know himself and is going to attach to the mother, and whenever he wants to have a higher desires, at the time he goes to mama and says, Mama, I want a bicycle. So at the time, mama goes to the papa and she says that our child wants a bicycle. At the time, child will know that, okay, for small things, for food, clothing, everything, it is mama. For the bigger things, it is papa. So he's going to make generalization between mom and dad, my dear friends. He's going to make the generalization between mom and dad, my dear friends. Okay, so in this way, he is going to develop the self, my dear friends. And later on, he will also try to know about he knows about the specifications between mom and dad, and he will also try to know about the generalized others who are there in the society, like what is the duty of a doctor, a teacher, whatnot. So in this process of learning or acquiring the knowledge, the child will try to play some games and is going to perform certain roles by which he's going to internalize the norms and values. Because guys, when you're kids, have you ever played any games like teacher's friend? Yes or no, guys? We must have played some games.
Yes, sir.
So it is the teacher, then we used to keep a small towel on the shoulder for boys, and girls, just like Chuni, they used to tuck into the trunk and they used to put on just like a sari. And the teacher used to come with a stick. And once
Yes,
the
sir.
teacher comes, all the friends used to stand up and they used to respect the teacher. That means when the teacher comes, everyone has to respect the teacher. We have learned it. And the teacher is the source of knowledge. Whatever teacher says, we are going to acquire it. We have learned it. Teacher is the source of knowledge. And teacher also checks our homework. And teacher also, if any person is not going to perform their homework properly, teacher is going to punish them. So we also learn that teacher has the right to also put the children in the right direction. We have internalized these norms using role play. So children have played the roles. We must have played like chore police. We have played doctor and patient. So we are going to perform a lot of games and we are going to take up the roles and we are also going to learn and develop ourselves. This is about George Hermert's theory of self, my dear friend. Then Sigmund Freud's theory. According to Sigmund Freud, the human mind is divided into three compartments. The human mind is divided into three compartments. For the personality of the individual can also be divided into three compartments. It is there in your page number 117, my dear friends. Id, ego, and super ego. Id, ego, and super ego. This id will try to satisfy the animal instincts of human beings. What are the animal instincts, beta? Animal instincts. All the animals feel hungry. I feel hungry. They feel thirsty. I feel thirsty. Animals also have sexual drive. Human beings also have. So whatever we find, whatever the drives we find in the animals and also in the social animal, that will try to be satisfied. The satisfaction is called as id. Id will try to satisfy the animal instincts of human beings from birth till death, my dear friends. Whenever we talk about id, my dear friends, it can be unconscious. It is based on instincts. It can be selfish. It can be unsocialized. It can be aggressive or antisocial also. For example, think you're going in the flight and suddenly there is an accident and all the people have been put to death and you are the only person, you are alive. You fell in the desert and you tried to find a habitation but you could not and you fell unconscious. And a person who was going on the way, they saw you, they came to you and sprinkled some water on your face and you are alive, you are awake. And what is the first word which will come from your mouth? What is the first word which will come out from your mouth? Water. So he gave some water to you, you drank it, now you're feeling hungry. So the second word is, I'm feeling hungry. And that fellow has given a loaf of meat to you, loaf of meat. How many of you are going to ask whether it's the flesh of a goat, sheep, buffalo, pig, or anything like? How many of you are going to ask it? You're almost on the verge of death, my dear friends. You're almost on the deathbed. You're feeling very, very hungry. For the past 1 week or 10 days, there is no food, and he has given you a loaf of meat to you. What will
I
you do?
don't think we will ask that
We'll simply
topic.
eat
We'll
it.
simply eat it
Okay,
because
what happened to your
that
religion?
point of time the life is
What
important.
happened to your religion? Because your religion has certain restrictions. What happened to that? All this is gone. All whatever we have been socialized, like I'm a Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, these are the food habits we need to have. These are prohibited. These are profane. You're not supposed to do. All this will be evaporated, and we try to think to satisfy only our animal instinct. It will try to satisfy the animal instinct of the human being, my dear friends. The second one is ego. The second one is ego. Ego was arises through social experience, and it is the most useful and sensible part of the self. The ego, in other words, the conscious self, has two functions to perform. One is to counterbalance between the demands of the self and to which come from the id, and also to accept the demands of the society. So this ego is going to act as a mediator between our desires and that of the society. Society says that you may feel hungry, but you cannot do theft. You may go and beg for food. You have the right to work, and after once you earn the money, your duty is to go and purchase the food. It acts as a mediator between the animal instincts, nothing but it, and in terms of the norms and values which are there in the society, my dear friends. Okay, but as coming to the super ego, we are going to stick on to the ethical and moral values which are prescribed by the society. For example, think you have come, for example, it must not happen, just giving an example. Think you guys have completed your LLB and you have become the judge of a court. And when you are the judge of the court, at that time, your family member or your child or very, very close to you, he has committed a crime and he was brought to the court. What will you do? Will you punish him or whether you will try to protect him? If you are going to try to protect him, you're trying to do the balance, my dear friends. But in ego, we will not try to follow the ethical and moral values all the time. We look for opportunities. If we get any chance, we also try to protect it. Whereas in the super ego, my dear friends, whether whatever the situation arises, we are going to be loyal and we are going to be faithful and we are going to practice only the right thing, not the thing which is not acceptable by the society. Got it, beta? So according to Sigmund Freud, the human mind is divided into three compartments: id, ego, and super ego. So these are the three theories of socialization, my dear friends. In this lesson, my dear friends, they may ask, define socialization and explain the agents of socialization, or they may ask, explain the types of socialization. Either they may ask types, or else they may ask about the agents of socialization. Sometimes they may also ask theories like theories. So we cannot be specific, my dear friends, but in this lesson, three questions may come. Now let us discuss about marriage, my dear friends. Marriage. If we see on this planet, my dear friends, except one species, no other species have this marriage system. But after marriage, whatever, like we try to satisfy the biological needs, like that is acceptable by the animals. Whereas here, if we want to satisfy our biological needs or desires, we have created a system called marriage. What is the need for us to have this marriage system? Because we are social animals, remember, we are social animals and we are psychological beings. If I love a girl, if I exploited a girl, and if I'm going to kick a girl, I will be happy. But if a girl is going to do the same thing, I will not be happy. When a person is not happy at the time because of psychological disturbance, psychological problems, there are chances that the people may create harm for themselves or from the other people or for the society. So what we have done, we have created a system which is going to give legitimacy for the relations, acceptability by the society, so that a boy and girl can set up a family and satisfy all their requirements, my dear friends. Okay, marriage is a universal sexual, or sorry, social institution, which we find in each and every institution from the time immemorial. And for the sociologists and social scientists, there is no consensus about the origin and about the continuation of the marriage as a social institution. Okay, and each and every person has their own interpretation about the origin and about 1 minute about the origin of this marriage and about the changes of this marriage system. This marriage gives a sexual gratification and license to parenthood. License to parenthood. It is nothing but the approval of the people. It gives the legal contract or legal acceptance to the people to satisfy their requirements. Let us discuss about the characteristics of marriage. Marriage is universal, both from the primitive illiterate societies to the literate societies. We find this marriage. The next one is, it is the relation between a man and a woman. Okay, but right now in some countries, even the marriage between the same sex or same gender is also being accepted, my dear friends. A boy and boy getting married, and a girl and girl getting married is also being accepted, but not in each and every country, my dear friends. Marriage is the relation between a man and a woman. It is based on certain rules, my dear friends. Who should marry whom? And what is the pattern of marriage? Everything. We are going to have certain rules. And this marriage bond is going to be enduring for longer period, my dear friends, till the person is alive, or the wife and husband is alive, or till the people seek divorce. And the next one is, it also requires the approval of the people. It also has some civil and religious ceremony, and it also has certain rights as well as obligations on each other, like wife and husband. So this about the characteristics of marriage. Now let us discuss about the types of marriage, my dear friends. The marriages can be classified into two types, according to your book. One is monogamy and the other one is polygamy. Monogamy is the form of marriage in which one boy or one girl is going to marry one girl or one man. Then we call it as monogamy. Means one boy is going to marry one girl, or one girl is going to marry one boy at a time or in the lifetime. We call it as monogamy. So there must be a question from your side. Sir, you're going to say at a time. Means at one time he get married, and after that again he's going to get married. So he will have multiple wives or multiple husbands. My dear friends, it's not so. Once a boy got married, till the lady is alive, at the time he will be having only one wife. Think if the girl is deceased or the husband is dead, it's fine. At the time, if the boy or girl is going to get married, at the time they will have only one spouse. So that is the reason why we are going to say at a time or in the lifetime. Then we call it as monogamy. It is a form of marriage where one male or female is going to marry one female or one male. We call it as monogamy. It is one of the best acceptable form of marriage, my dear friends, because only one wife and one husband, both of them will have ample time to understand each other. Once they understand each other, they will try to help each other. They'll try to cooperate with each other. And if they are happy, the next generation will be happy. How come the next generation will be happy? Because both mama and papa, they are going to contribute 23 plus 23 chromosomes, my dear friends. Out of 46 chromosomes, only 2 chromosomes, XX or XY, is going to decide the gender of the child, whereas the rest of the 44 chromosomes are going to decide our features, our characteristics, our diseases, whatnot. So if you are going to quarrel with each other, that conflicting situation may carry forward to the next child, including disease, our thought process, everything, my dear friends. In all our families, we have seen that the first child is calm, whereas the second child is very, very notorious. రెండో వాడు బాగా అల్లరి చేస్తాడు. Why the second child is why 1 minute, I just want to attend a call. One. Sorry, guys. Extremely sorry. Okay. Now, see why the second child is notorious, beta. I have not done this study. The doctors have done the study. And they said that once a boy and girl get married, they are strangers to each other. At the time, what happens, beta? They will try to ponder a lot of love and affection on each other. They will try to ponder a lot of love and affection on each other. So the first child is very, very calm. He has lovable conditions. And once the child is born, at the time the problems between wife and husband starts. Because the child do not sleep during the night time. So the conflict, who has to take care of the child during the night time? So wife says, you take care of the child, I have taken care of the child the whole day. And husband says, I have to go to the office, you take care. So conflict started. Whatever the extra money was there, which is to spend on the wife, right now he could not spend that. He has diverted to the child. So the lady says, you don't love me anymore. So now conflict started. So whenever this, because they are tired of taking care of child, psychological problems arise. Sajida, please mute yourself. Okay. So once this happened, do you know what happens, Bida? At the time, because at that time, if the lady is going to conceive, because of this conflicting situation, the child is notorious, and having to the third and fourth, they are unbearable, my dear friends. Too many psychological disturbance, so many problems. Then obviously the third, fourth child, they'll be unbearable. I'm not saying this. The doctors have done the study and they are saying this. So monogamy is the best form of marriage where people can understand each other, cooperate with each other, and if they're going to be happy, the next generation will also be happy. And the next one is polygamy. Polygamy means one man or one woman is going to marry more than one woman or more than one man. We call it as polygamy. Means a boy is going to have multiple wives, or else a girl is going to have multiple husbands. Then we call it as polygamy. Polygamy is classified into 2 types. We have said boy can have multiple wives and the girl can have multiple husbands. So based on that, we are going to classify polygamy into 2 types. One is polygyny and the other one is polyandry. Polygyny. Polygyny. Polygyny is the form of marriage in which a boy is going to have more than one wife. We call it as polygyny. Okay. And if a boy is going to have multiple wives, and if all the wives are sisters, then we call it as sororal polygyny. If all the wives are sisters, a boy got married, and all the wives are sisters, then we call it as sororal, SORORAL, sororal polygyny. A boy got multiple wives and the wives are not sisters, then we call it as non-sororal polygyny. According to Islam, a boy can have 4 wives, legally 4 marriages. A boy can have 4 wives, but the wives must not be sisters. Sororal polygyny is not accepted in Islam. It is non-sororal polygyny which is accepted, my dear friends. He can have 4 wives, but the wives cannot be sisters. So polygyny is of 2 types, sororal polygyny and the other one is non-sororal polygyny. So when this polygyny will happen? When the male population is low and when the female population is very, very high. So at the time, each and every girl cannot practice monogamy because the male population is low. First one is that. That is the first condition. The second condition is that a boy got married and the girl is not giving birth to children at all. She is barren. So at the time for the want of children, a boy may go for second marriage for the want of children. The third one is the lady is giving birth to children, but only to the girl child, not to the male child. So he think the problem is with the lady, not with him. So he may go for second marriage, expecting that the second lady may give birth to a male child, so that their tradition, their legacy will carry forward, my dear friend. The third one is for economical activities. More wives, these wives will go and work in the fields, so there is no need for them to pay the wages to the labor. And these wives will give, yes, yes, beta. Okay, don't disturb, yeah. Okay. So if these more people are there, they'll do more agriculture at a larger scale. So obviously there'll be more agriculture output. So economically they are going to prosper. One is for male population is more, male population is less, female population is more. Second one for the want of child, for the want of male child, and the third one is for economical activities. And the fourth one is for it is a status symbol for the people. A status symbol for the people, my dear friends. People think that if having only a wife and taking care of the lady, I'm done. And a fellow is going to have multiple wives and is going to take care of all the wives. So it is just like a status symbol for the person. There was a documentary published in Discovery Channel almost 4 years back about a king who is there in Rajasthan. There is a Hawa Mahal in that. And do you know the documentary also said the number of windows is equal to number of wives for the king. The number of windows is equal to number of wives. And do you know how many windows are there to the palace? It has more than 100 windows, my dear friends. A king maintained more than 100 wives, it seems. 100 wives. So it is the status symbol that I'm maintaining. I'm having these many wives. And the last one is for a variety of taste. I'm not saying this, it is there in the book. Okay. So these may be the causes for polygamy. And the next one is polyandry. If a girl is going to have multiple husbands, then we call it as polyandry. If all the husbands are brothers, then we call it as fraternal polyandry. Fraternal polyandry. If you see in Mahabharata, Draupadi had married Pandavas. All brothers, we call it as fraternal polyandry. A girl had multiple husbands and the husbands are not brothers, then we call it as non-fraternal polyandry. So what are the causes for this polyandry? The male population is more and the female population is less. So each and every boy does not have an option to go for monogamy form of marriage. The first one, male population is more, and the second one is female population is less. The second one is for dover, kanya shulkamu. Nowadays we have dowry. When we get married, the girl is going to girl's parents are going to give some money to the boy, isn't it, better? But when the male population is low, at the time we have this dover, kanya shulkamu. In among Muslims we have mahar, bride's price, isn't it, better? So the bride's price was very, very high, and the boy could not gather that much money and give it to the girl's parents so that he can go for marriage because of their low economical condition. At the time, 2 or 3 boys came together, pooled up the money, and they have given it to the girl's parents, and later on they have gone for marriage. So these are the two conditions for this polyandry, my dear friend. So we are going to have monogamy form of marriage. We are going to have polygamy. Polygamy is of two types, polygyny and polyandry. Polygyny again is of two types, sororal polygyny and non-sororal polygyny. Polyandry is of two types, fraternal polyandry and non-fraternal polyandry. And the next one is group marriages. The third one is group marriages. In the group marriages, my dear friends, 4 or 5 women and 4 or 5 men. They are going to come together and they are going for marriage. And all the women are treated as the wives of this group, and all the men are treated as the husbands of this group. And anybody can maintain relation with anyone. This kind of marriage system also prevails in some parts of the world, my dear friends. But this is very, very rare, and this is very, very exceptional, my dear friends. Only in few parts of the world we find it, but very, very rare, my dear friends. So these are the 3 types of marriage: monogamy, polygamy, and group marriages. Now let us discuss about the rules of this marriage. In the Indian society, in terms of marriage, we are going to have 2 concepts. One is endogamy and exogamy. Endogamy and exogamy. It is there in page number 124 and 1. A boy or girl has to marry within the same religion, same caste. They have to marry within the same religion or same caste. Then we call it as endogamy. Endogamy. We call it as caste endogamy or religious endogamy. If we see among Hindus, like Brahmins marry among Brahmins, among Muslims, like Shia marry among Shia, Sunnis marry among Sunnis, like the same way. In each and every religion, we also find this endogamy. They have to marry within the same religion or same caste. Endogamy, people have to marry within the same religion or same caste. We call it as endogamy. Even though we are going to practice endogamy, we are also going to have exogamy. Exogamy, there are 4 types of exogamy. Even though a person is going to marry in the same caste, they must not marry within the same gotra. Sagotra exogamy must be there. If people are going to have same gotramu, those people are treated as brother and sister, and according to Hindu philosophy, there cannot be a marriage between brother and sister. So there must be Sagotra exogamy. Gotramu, same gotramu undakudadu. Sagotra exogamy. The next one is Sapinda exogamy. If the children are born to the same parents, they cannot go for marriage. They cannot go for marriage. So Sapinda exogamy must be there. And in some parts of the country, we also have Pravara exogamy. If the people are going to follow a common saint, follow a common priest or saint, at that time also they marry outside that. So we call it as Pravara exogamy. I will come to you, Gautami. Wait for 1 minute. And in some parts,
Okay, sir. Continue.
And the 4th one is, in some parts of the country, we also find village exogamy, but it is very, very rare, my dear friend. Means they are not going to marry the girl or accept a boy or girl from the same village. For 2 reasons. One is because the boy and girl know each other, they know their strength, they know their weakness, they know their problems. And after getting married, if there is any problem, they will try to dig everything and they go on fighting with each other. So that must not be there. Because in the olden days, the villages are very, very small. Only 10 houses, 30 houses, 40 houses. So each and every person know each other. So that is the reason. First one. So obviously, when they fight with each other, they will face trouble. The next generation will face trouble. And if you are going to accept the girl or boy from the other village, they are strangers to each other. They don't know about each other. So they will try to start a new life. It will be a second chance for them. Next one is, they are going to become relatives. 2 village people are going to become relatives. So tomorrow my village people are facing trouble. Those people will come for my rescue. And if they are facing any trouble, we will go for their rescue. So it is also going to build up the bond between the people. So exogamy. In spite of marrying within the same religion, same caste, we're also going to practice outside. Sagotra exogamy, same go outside the gotra, Pravara exogamy, then village exogamy, and Sapinda exogamy. We are going to practice this for exogamy. Now tell me, beta, Gautami, you have some problem.
Sir,
ఏంటిది మీ problem?
ఎగ్జోగమి అంటే సేమ్ గోత్రాలు ఉండాలా ఉండకూడదా? అర్థం కాలేదు.
సేమ్ గోత్రము ఉండకూడదు.
ఓకే సార్.
బయట ఎక్సోగమి అంటే బయట గోత్రము బయట చేసుకోవాలా, ఒకటే పేరెంట్ పుట్టిన వాళ్ళు చేసుకోవద్దు. ఇవి కండిషన్. They must not marry within the same caste, same gotra. Yes. Yes.
Okay, sir.
क्या है बेटा?
एक मजा पियो। ठीक है वो मजा वो एप्पल का
तो म्यूट करो जी. Okay.
क्या मम्मी नहीं है रे
मोहम्मद. Okay. Now we have these two, my dear friends. Okay. In the Hindu philosophy, my dear friends, we also have the condition like hypergamy and hypogamy. Hypergamy and hypogamy. It is not there in your books, my dear friends. Just for your additional information, I'm giving it. Okay. Hypergamy. In this, the boy can marry the girl from the same caste and from the lower caste. It is acceptable. A boy can marry the girl from the same caste and from the lower caste. It is acceptable. That means a Brahmin can marry the girl from Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. It is acceptable. A Kshatriya can marry among Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Whereas Vaishya only from Vaishya and Shudra, whereas the Shudra boy will marry the girl only from the Shudra community. So we call this practice as hypergamy. Hypergamy. A boy can marry the girl from the same caste and from the lower caste it is acceptable, but a boy cannot marry the girl from the upper caste at any point of time. Got it, beta? We call it as hypergamy. And if a girl, okay, or else the boy from the lower caste, if he is going to marry the girl from the upper caste, if he is going to marry the boy from the the girl from the upper caste, then we call it as hypogamy. Hypogamy. Okay, a Brahmin girl is going to marry the boy from Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra. Actually, according to hypergamy, it is not acceptable. But if she is going to marry, we call it as hypogamy. It is not acceptable. Hypergamy is acceptable, whereas hypogamy form of marriage is not acceptable. We can also call it as anuloma and pratiloma. Anuloma is the accepted form of marriage, whereas pratiloma is not acceptable, my dear friends. Then we also have preferences in terms of marriage, my dear friends. Preferences. In some societies, my dear friends, or among Hindus, we find cross-cousin marriages. It is acceptable. Cross-cousin marriages, Menarikam.
Page, sir, in that lesson.
Page number 125 here. I already told you. Okay. See, I can marry a girl or my mom's brother's daughter. It is acceptable. Cross-cousin, Menarikam. It is acceptable. Whereas if you see in Islam, the first priority is given to Chachera and then the second priority is given to the Mamera. Means first priority is given to the parallel cousins. If I'm there, my father's brothers, if he has a daughter, I will go and marry. The first preference is given to the parallel cousins in Islam, my dear friends. Second priority is given to the Mamera, Chachera, Mamera like. And to the mother side, my father's sister's children. The first one is parallel cousins and then cross cousins. Whereas among Hindus, they give priority to the cross cousins and they don't marry among parallel cousins because they are treated as brother and sister. My father's brother's daughter, she's sister for me. His sister for me. So there cannot be a marriage between brother and sister. So among Hindus, we don't have the marriage for parallel cousins, but among Muslims, first priority is given for parallel cousins, then second for the cross cousins. Then we also have this levirate, Lgvirate. This is the practice of marrying the dead husband's brother. Think a lady has a husband and the husband expired. Now what the lady has to do? And if the husband's brother is there, at the time this lady is going to marry the husband's brother, then we call it as levirate. 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 Because they are brothers, so the property will be intact and he will be able to take care of him. Because the couple may also have children, and if the lady is going to accept the boy from the other place, he may take care of the children or not. So if she's going to marry the deceased husband's brother, he will take care of the children, my dear friends. So this practice, we call it as levirate. And the next one is sororate, S-O-R-O-R-A-T-E, sororate. In this, if a boy, if the lady has been put to death or the wife has been put to death, At the time the husband is going to marry the deceased wife's sister, then we call it as sororate. So these are the 4 types of preferences we are going to find in the marriages, my dear friends. Then let us discuss about the functions of marriage. The first one, people get married to satisfy the biological requirements, nothing but the sexual life. The second one is it is going to help the people in terms of establishing the family. The next one is it helps them to satisfy the or lead the social life. It helps the people not only to satisfy the biological needs, but also give birth to children and take care of the children, my dear friends. So that these children will become the good citizens of their respective state. Give birth to the children, educate them properly, take care of them, my dear friends. So these are the functions of marriages, my dear friends. Now let us discuss about the changes of this marriage. In the olden days, parents used to select the spouse. Right now, we can see a lot of changes. The girls and boys, they are selecting the spouse on their own. In the olden days, marriage used to endure for longer period. But right now, people, it can be for 1 week, maybe for 1 day, and few people, they are going to sustain, the marriages are going to sustain for the entire lifetime. It depends on the people, my dear friends. They may endure for longer period or may not endure for longer period. In the olden days, in the modern days, my dear friends, people are also going for live-in relations. Live-in relations are increasing. Right now, my dear friends, more than 10% of the Indian families, my dear friends, have entered into live-in relations, my dear friends. Live-in relations. Without marriage, they are going to set up a family and satisfy all the requirements. And whatever the marriage ceremonies are there, most of the ceremonies are being changed, my dear friends. The age at marriage has been changed. The size of the families have been changed. Marriages are being broken down. Economical globalization is taking place. Both the wife and husband are working together. Independent choices in terms of mate selection have come up. Increase in divorce rates have that has taken place. And the roles of the people have also been changed, my dear friends. So this is about the changes which are taking place in the marriages. Any doubts in today's class, beta?
No, sir.
Okay. If there are no doubts, my dear friends, we'll stop here, and in the next class, we will discuss about family and the other institutions.
Sir,
Sir, when's our next class?
Next class, I don't know the table beta. They will forward it to you, or else just check in the website.
Tomorrow is class there, sir.
Okay, beta.
Tomorrow is the class.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
In this class, beta,
Thank
they
you,
may ask
sir.
define marriage,
Thank
and
you, sir.
the types of marriage, or else they may ask about the functions of marriage.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, well explained, sir.
Sir,
Okay. Yes, yes. Yes, beta. Chepandi. Bolo, beta.
tomorrow is the class.
Tomorrow, I hope there is no class, beta.
Sir, as per the schedule which has been given to us, this is the final class now.
No.
Yeah, so that's
They have extended the classes, my dear friends. You'll be having 6 more classes, I hope so.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Again, they will prepare the timetable and they will let you know. We are in the almost 8th unit, isn't it, Vidam? We
Yes.
have almost 8 more lectures, so that we will be completing. Don't worry.
Okay.
Sir,
we have
any
6 more
model
classes.
papers, sir, for preparation?
For model paper, you have to go to the university. In the library, they make you the model question paper. Or else, see
Sir,
the
how the question will come, sir?
Beta, see, if you have the book, at the end of your book, you are also going to have a model paper. See, the end of your book is there.
Sir,
Sir,
no,
how question will come, sir?
Books were not given, sir.
Beta, regarding the book,
just wanted to
Books post lo వస్తాయన్నారు ఇవ్వలేదు సార్ ఇంకా
నేను ఏమంటున్నా రిగార్డింగ్ ద
కాలేజీకి వెళ్తే ఇస్తారు.
మీరు బుక్స్ గురించి మీరు వాళ్ళ కన్సర్న్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ అడగండి నాన్న. ఎందుకంటే నేను అంబేద్కర్ ఓపెన్ యూనివర్సిటీ కాదు, నేను ఉస్మానియా యూనివర్సిటీ. ఐఎమ్ ఓన్లీ డెలివరింగ్ ద లెక్చర్స్ ఫర్ యూ గైస్, దట్స్ ఇట్. ఓకే, సో ఐ డోంట్ నో వాట్ ఇస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్
Sir, how the question will come, sir?
నాన్న క్వశ్చన్స్ మీకు లాస్ట్ మోడల్ పేపర్ ఇచ్చారు చూడండి. దాంట్లో నేను ప్రతి ఒక్క లెసన్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత ప్రశ్నలు ఏ విధంగా అడుగుతారు కూడా చెప్తున్నాను కదా.
Okay, sir. Created a small WhatsApp group through
Guys,
which
you can prepare.
PDF.
What I'm saying, beta, you guys can prepare your WhatsApp group. If you want, you can also add us. We'll be there to help you out.
Sir,
How can we add, sir?
See, beta, you're attending the classes, so you can also share your numbers, and one of you take the responsibility and prepare it.
The problem here is once
we
you
already have a group, sir.
the class, the host
Not have a group, sir.
Some people are saying there is a group. Some people are not saying.
groups. There is a group which we have created. However, there are few other friends who have not been included.
What you do, Shailaja, when the class is going on, you invite that using WhatsApp. They can join that, isn't it?
Right. The link.
You drop the link in the chat room.
Exactly,
So
sir. No, sir. Let me complete it. What's happening here is we don't have the access to chat to everyone. We don't have that access has been removed to us. Okay. Now we are not able to place that link in this chat box.
No, you can.
No, sir.
No, your friends are. No, your friends are dropping. Your friends are dropping. If someone has dropped it.
I have access, sir, which is a BRAOU and a Bhavani Shankar co-host. That's all. Apart from that, we don't have the access. I don't have the access mainly.
I don't know, but some of your friends are sending the messages in the chat box.
I can't send you the message also, sir. I'm actually writing everything.
Sir, in chat box only to you and BRO Hyderabad, sir.
Hyderabad has been given, sir. Most of them, it is only given to two.
Two, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So
if any one of you has the link, you send the link to me, and in the class I will try to share with you guys, okay? So that you guys can join it.
Okay, sir.
If anybody has created any group, you send the link to me, and I will drop that in the chat box so everyone can see it, isn't it?
Your number, please.
Already it's there with the friends, beta. Beta, now can you see
Sir,
the message?
your name is after
1 minute.
Sir, I have shared it with you.
Okay, but I will see. Okay. Yeah, I will try it out. I will try. Okay, I'll try to send it better. You send it to me better personally, and I will try to send it in the next class. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You'll be having 6 classes. Inform your friends also.
Okay, thanks. Namaste.
ఎవరైనా నెంబర్ చెప్పండి, గ్రూప్ లో యాడ్ చేయండి.
నా నంబర్ తీసుకోండి, నేను గ్రూప్ లో యాడ్ చేస్తా. నా నంబర్ తీసుకోండి, తొందరగా తీసుకోండి. 903040
903040
2634.
ఆగు బ్రో ఒక్క నిమిషం. 903040 2634.
My number also 99080.
Wait. 99080 9910.
I'll repeat that again. 99080 11910.
Okay.
My number is add 93.
SBI and my number is 63.
Bro.
చెప్పండి నెంబర్ చెప్పండి.
93.
With your
ఓకే 93
922
922
54451.
54451.
Mine 6302.
బ్రో నాకు చెప్తున్నాను ఒకసారి చూడు.
చెప్పండి.
0.
హలో
ఆల్రెడీ సోషియాలజీ గ్రూప్ ఉంది, దాంట్లోనే కదా యాడ్ చేస్తున్నాం మనం.
ఆల్ ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్ యానే 799
హలో
799.
Hello, Bhaiya.
Hello.
630 ఉన్నారా ఎవరన్నా?
హలో
చెప్పండి
630
630
128
128
3493.
3493
72
Hello.
6302
043
6302 043
991
72.
My number.
Who has the access for everyone to chat? Hello. Who has the 72. everyone to chat here?
No, we don't
Hello.
have to chat that.
Hello.
72.
Seven two
Send message to
86.
PRAOU. I think.
72
2286
7286
7286 7107.
7286 తర్వాత చెప్పండి.
30402634. Who is this?
Hello.
728 9030.
I don't know, but say one by one without getting confused.
Hyderabad.
7286967107.
9030402634. Sudhir Chirguri.
We are all getting confused, yeah.
Oh.
సరే చిన్నగా చెప్పండి. 7286 నెంబర్ చెప్పారు, దాని తర్వాత చెప్పలేదు. 7286 తర్వాత
728696
96
7107.
గోపిచంద్ చాట్ బాక్స్ లో నెంబర్ పెట్టా.
అయ్యో చాట్ బాక్స్ లో నంబర్ కనపడట్లేదు, అందుకే కదా నంబర్ తీసుకుంటాను.
We can't say no there.
799
I don't know who is creating group. Just take my number.
799
ఒకటి అడ్మిన్ అందరికి ఇచ్చేసేస్తే ఎవరైనా ఉంటే జాయిన్ లింక్ షేర్ చేసుకుంటే జాయిన్ అవుతారు, వేరే క్లాస్ లో ఉన్నా కానీ. ఒకవేళ
No, we can't do like that.
ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్ వాళ్ళకి ఉంది కదా.
99.
మ్యూట్ చేసుకోండి ప్లీజ్, దేర్ ఇస్ అ లాట్ ఆఫ్ సౌండ్.
నేను చెప్తున్నాను. గ్రూప్ ఉంది, దానిలో ఉన్నాను.
మీ నెంబర్ చెప్పరా?
2023 B అఫీషియల్ అని ఉంది గ్రూప్.